Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Well, today we will look at staging tables, dimension and fact loading, and star and snowflake schema. Okay. So okay. Today we are going to see dimension and facts. Okay. Are there people who are still joining? Because I don't see. I see 11 people only. Yasir, Sohail, Turan. Who is missing today? Ali is here. Kamran is here.
Tonya.
Dunya is missing. Hmm. Who else is missing? Wasim is missing. Okay, I think we'll join. Okay, so at work you will have two different kinds of files. Okay, one will be dimension files. One will be fact files. Okay, you will have to differentiate the difference between dimensions and fact. Okay, so at work they will give you data like this: employee ID, name, depth ID, and salary. Okay, you will have 1 up to 10, 1000, 2, Ramiro, 20, 2000. Okay, so we have worked with this employee flat file. Okay, then they will give you store flat file. Okay, you will have in this one you'll have store ID. Employee will have employee flat file will have employee ID. Store flat file will have store ID, store name, and zip code where the store is. Zip code. Okay, store ID is 1. Store name. Now we'll just call this as not. So this will be city, or let's call this a state. 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . 。 . . . . . 。 . . 。 . 。 . . 。 . . . 。 . . . . . . . . 。 . . . . . . . . . 。 . . . . . . . .
。
Okay, this will be CA. This will be 1111. Okay, store ID 2. This will be NY, and this will be 22222. Okay, you'll have data like this, and you'll have the third data, sales fact file. This one will be sales ID, and then total sales. Okay, um, which employee made this sale? Which employee made this sale? In which store it was sold? Sales ID, total sales, employee ID, store ID, and quantity. How many products? Number of products. Okay. So sale ID will be 1. Total sales is $100. Quantity is 1. Which person made this sale? Abdul made this sale. Okay. From which store? It was sold at this store. Okay. Um, then there is another sale. The sale was $200. How many quantity did this person sell? 2. Who sold this? Ramil sold this. Which store does Ramil work on? So you will have data like this. Okay, so you will have to first figure out which one is dimensions and which one is fact. Okay, so is that clear? So what is dimension and what is fact? Okay, so in this one, this is dimension, and this is fact. Okay, so what is a dimension? A dimension is something you can measure against. Like, for example, sales is fact. You can measure sales against employee. How many sales did this employee make? And you can measure sales against how much sale was made in the state, right? Sales by employee, sales by state. Anything which comes after the word by or which comes after the word per. For example, sales by or per state. You can use either of them. Okay, that means you can find out sales, which is fact, by state. We don't have a state here. We can have store or employee. Okay, so you can measure sales against an employee. So this is a measure. Okay, is that clear? If you can measure something against something, if you can measure a number against something. Okay, is that clear? What is dimension and what is fact? In this case, you want to measure the total sales against the store and against the employee. So this one will become your fact. This one will be dimension, because you can measure the sales against an employee, and against a store. Is this clear to everyone? How do you figure out which one is dimension and which one is fact? Yes, this is important. Is this clear?
Yes,
Yes.
just a point. Is it like we can say that fact is changing and
Even this can change. A person can move from department ID 10 to 20%. Salary can also change.
mhm,
A
okay.
store can change zip code, right? Store can change state. Okay, but this data changes very slowly. This data changes very slowly. Okay, not the fact data. Fact data every day you get. Every day you get new. So this is today's. So this is 725. On 725 you had how many 10,000 10,000 sales. Okay, 726, how much sales do you have? You can have 15,000 sales, right? But on 725 you hire on 2 employees. On 726 probably you will not hire any employees, right? On 725 when I run this workflow, you have two stores. On 726 you probably will have two stores only, right? No increase, right? And see, your store employees, you'll probably have 3 employees here. You hired one extra employee. On 725 you still have two stores. 726 you have two stores only. Okay, but on 725 you make 10,000 sales. 726 you make 15,000 sales, right? 727 probably you will still have the same number of employees. 726 you will still have the same number of stores. 727 you could have like maybe 12,000 sales. 12,000 sales. So this data changes very slow. Dimension. This data changes very slow. This data is huge and changes every day. That is the reason this is called as SCD, slowly changing dimension. This is called as SCD, slowly changing dimension, slowly changing dimension. Fact is not slowly changing. Okay, is that clear? So one day you can have 10,000 sales, tomorrow you can have 15,000 sales, day after tomorrow you can have 12,000 sales. So this is your daily sales. This is clear to everyone.
Yes, Abdul. Let's say we have at work like maybe more than 1,000 tables, right? How
Mhm.
can you identify what are the fact tables and then
You can
dimension tables?
identify the daily transactions. Any file which has daily transactions, any file which has daily transactions will be fact. Anything which you measure against, it will be say. By looking at the data, by forget about all of this. By looking at this data, you can tell, right, how many employees, like looking at the data, you can figure out if the data changes slowly or data changes every day. Looking at this, you can maintain history here. You can maintain history here. This sale is done for today and that's it, done. This sale is done for today, that's it, done. Tomorrow you will not have anything for this, right?
Right.
You'll get fresh set of data. Is this clear to everyone? Anybody has any questions? So if you do this assignment, this is like covering all 22 classes, 22, 23 classes we have done so far. Okay, and this is the most complicated assignment. If you can do this assignment, we can start your marketing from Monday. If you know dimension and fact loading, we can start your marketing from Monday. Clear? How to figure out what is dimension, which one is dimension and which one is fact? Guys, is this clear or no?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So one second. Let me. Sorry. Okay. So you can figure out which one is dimension and which one is fact. Okay. Now they will give you these three flat files. They will give you these three flat files. They will ask you to perform SCD type 2. Okay. So okay, they'll ask you to perform SCD type 2. Okay, so this is very easy, right? So you already know what will be the first column you will have here. Can someone tell me? Okay, before you do that, before you do that, you will not take flat file and start loading it into the target table and perform SCD type 1 or type 2. Okay, no, you will not do that. First, you
We
will
have to
load.
join two of them, right?
No, wait. First, you will take data from flat file. You will take data from flat file and load it to staging table. From staging table, you will load it to SCD type 2. Is this clear? You will take data from flat file and load it to staging. From staging, you will load it to SCD2. So what is staging? What does the word staging means? Staging means you will take the data as is from the source. Your source can be a table, another table. You will take data from this source and load it to a table. This can be a flat file or a table, but you will not take your source data and start performing SCD2. You will first take the data as is, okay, and load it to a staging table. Okay, so it will have, this one will be called emp staging. 4 columns will also have 4 columns, and this will be truncate and load. This will be truncate and load. Okay, store flat file. You will load it to, you will take store flat file and you will load it to store staging. Okay, this will be truncate and load. We'll take the sales data and load it to sales staging. This will be a table and this will be a truncate and load. Is this clear to everyone? Is this clear to everyone? So you will
Yes.
take your flat file, load. If it has 4 columns, it will have 4 columns. No indexes, no constraints, nothing. You will just truncate and load, truncate and load, truncate and load. Okay. So this will be your mapping 1. This will be your mapping 2. This will be your mapping 3. You know how to load data from flat file to table, and you can truncate and load, right? So you will have source definition, source qualifier, target, source definition, source qualifier, and target, source definition, source qualifier, and target. Here, so these 3 mappings you have to first create. Now you will take in the second mapping, oh sorry, in the 4th mapping, so M1, M2, M3. Now in M4, this will be your source and your target will be employee dimension. Target will be employee dimension. Okay, so what is the first column you will have here?
Surrogate key.
Yeah, so MD key, then you will have all of these columns. Okay, and then you will have insert, same thing, whatever we did so many times, insert date, end date, active MD5, and active flag. Clear to everyone?
Yes.
So you will have 1, and then you will have all of this data. Insert date will be 725, end date will be null, active MD5 will be ABC111, active flag will be Y. Okay, then this will be MD key will be 2. This will come from sequence generator. The rest of the columns will get loaded here. Okay, insert date will be this, end date will be null. This will be ABC222, and this will be Y. So you will load data from this staging table to this dimension, which we have done like plenty of times. Okay, and you will track changes on these 2 columns, right? will track changes on these two columns. MD5 will be these two columns. If any of these change, this will get end dated. This will get put n here. This will get 726, and then a new row will be inserted. Right? Clear? Now we will take now mapping 5. So mapping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody should be able to do it. Mapping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody should be able to do it without any questions. Okay, so you will have store dim. First column will be store D key.
Surrogate key.
Yeah, store D key, surrogate key. Then you will have these columns. Then you will have insert date. You will have end date. You will have MD5, and then you will have active. Okay, you will have data 1. Then you will have this one will come from sequence generator. Then you'll have the rest of the columns. Insert date will be 725. End date will be null because the store is still present at this location. So MD5 will be ABC because you're tracking changes on these two columns now. Okay, so MD5, so CA pipe 11 will be like AAA 111, something like that. Active flag will be Y. Same thing for the second one now. Store DK will be 2. Good. Okay, data will be, and this will be MD5 will be AAA 222, something like this, and this will be Y. These 5 mappings, if you cannot do it, then you were not paying attention in previous classes. Okay, these 5 mappings you should be able to do it. Mapping 1 will load data from flat file to table, truncate and load. Mapping 2 will load data. You know how to load data from flat file to table, right? These 3 is very easy. Even a kid can do this. Drag and drop source, drag and drop target, and connect it. This one we have practiced in detail here, how to do SCD2. So you will take data from your, now first you will import this as a source, then you will import this. First you will import this as a target. You will import this as a target and source. You will import this as target and source. This will be first a target, and in the later mapping it will be source. So this is source. You will perform SCD type 2 on these two columns and load it here. This will be your source. You will perform SCD type 2 on these two columns and load it into the target table. If department ID or salary changes for that employee, that record will get end dated here and a new record will be inserted. If you have any questions, please watch this SCD1 update strategy. Okay, this is clear how mapping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is done. Okay, I shouldn't be even asking that question. My fault. That's easy, very easy. So now the only question, so far we haven't learned anything new. Now I will show you why we have this class today. Okay, so mapping 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now mapping 6 is where I'm going to help you. This part I'll help you. I will not help you for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now when you load data from the sales flat file, so employee SCD, slowly changing dimension, you already know very well. Now when I'm loading data from the sales staging, so you will have something called as employee dimension, store dimension. You will have something called as sales F, sales fact, F for fact, whatever. Okay, what will be the first column here? Can someone tell me? What will be the first column here? 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 What will be
Surrogate key.
Yeah, it will be a surrogate key once again. It will be sales F key. Okay, dimension will have D key, fact will have F key. This will come from sequence generator. Okay, sales F key, right? Then you will have sales ID, total sales quantity. Okay, these are called fact columns. These three are called fact columns. Okay, these blue is, the blue columns are called as fact columns. Okay, these two columns are called dimension columns, right? These two are called dimension columns.
Yeah, because they are coming from dimension tables.
Yeah. So first, like in every dimension and fact, first will be surrogate key, surrogate key, surrogate key loaded by sequence generator. Rest of the columns from here, rest of the columns from here, rest of the columns from here. But see, employee ID, name, debt ID, salary, you loaded, insert date, end date. State and zip code you loaded, state and zip code, insert date, end date. You loaded sales FK and then you loaded all these columns. Now over here, you will not have employee ID. You will have emp D key. You will have sales F key. You will have insert date. So instead of employee ID and store ID, you will have MD key and sales D key. Insert date, end date, MD5, active flag. Is that clear to everyone? Is that clear to everyone? So you will not have employee ID and store ID. You will have employee D key and sales.
Although it should be store
Oh, yeah,
F
sorry,
key,
sorry,
right?
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It will be employee MD key and store D key instead of this one and this one. So in your source, you have store ID, but in your target, you want store D key. How will you get that?
Well, it's gonna be the like we did before lookup, so it's gonna be coming from the previous
So
one,
you will
right?
join on this one and employee ID and return this and load it here. You will join store ID and store ID and return store D key and load it here. So now interview question. Which one gets loaded first, dimensions or fact?
Dimensions.
Why is only Ramil answering? I don't understand. So dimension always get loaded before fact. That's an interview question. Because
It's like a parent and child ones, like
yes,
they have to.
correct. Parent and child. So either, so let's not do parent and the constraint based load. We will make sure that dimension will get loaded first because the D keys are used in the fact table. So if these are not loaded first, you cannot load these two columns, right? Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Clear? Should I explain again?
It's clear.
Yeah, sir. Okay, I'm going to start taking names.
Yes,
Yeah,
Abdul.
is
Clear.
that clear? Zohaib,
Yes.
is that clear?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, Torab, I don't need to ask. Sonia, I don't know if you understood so far.
Yes, it is clear.
Okay. Shantanu, I think you're clear. Mustafa, are you clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay. Irfan, Kamran,
Yes, it's clear. Thanks.
It's clear.
okay. Ali, is that clear?
Yes, yes.
Okay. This is the final assignment, which is difficult. I mean, it's not difficult. 5 out of 6 mappings you can do easily. The 6th mapping is where I'm going to help you a little bit. Okay, the 6th mapping is where I'm going to help you a little bit. Actually, I mean, I already helped you. So quickly explain again. At work, they will give you these 3 flat files. They will ask you to do dimension. They will ask you to load data into dimensions and facts. Okay, I will tell you what happens after you load data into dimensions and facts. Okay, At work, they will give you these 3 flat files. You have to figure out which one is dimension and which one is fact. Okay. If the flat file has daily transactional data, if the flat file has transactional data, that means it's a fact. Okay. And fact and dimension is something you can measure against. Okay. For example, in this one, employee is dimension, store is dimension, sales is a fact, because you have daily transaction, daily sales, right? You have daily sales here. Okay. And the other key, the other hint you should be, this data changes very slow. This data changes very slow. This data does not, it changes very quickly. Every day you have like 10,000 sales. Next Sunday, Saturday, Friday you can have, Wednesday you can have 10,000, Thursday you can have 10,000 sales. Friday you can have 15, Saturday you can have 20, Sunday you can have 25. Then again, Monday again you will have 5,000 sales, right? But employee, on day 1 you can have 2 employees, day 3 you will have same 2 employees only. Day 1 you can have 2 employees, day 2 you can have 2 employees, day 3 probably you will hire 1 employee. So there is a change in one. That is why the data changes very slowly here. That's why it's called slowly changing dimension, SCD. Okay.
Yes. Yes, Abdul, I have actually just one example in mind. Like under current conditions, like corona cases, number of corona cases, new cases, deaths, that's fact. And the states and cities, that's dimension.
Correct. That is correct. I mean, that's a bad example to give in this scenario, but yeah, that's, yeah, if you have, so suppose you want to, somebody wants to generate a report which shows deaths per state. Okay. Okay. So if somebody wants to create a report which shows the deaths per state, deaths will be fact, state will be dimension. Yeah. So you will have to figure out which one is dimension, because this one, deaths can change like every day. Like one day it can be 10,000 deaths, second day it can be 2 deaths, third day. But states, when was the last time a new state was added? 1950s, 60s, right? When was Hawaii added? 1951, I think. That was the last state in the state of US. So the state table did not change since 1951. Okay. Is that clear? It's a good example. I mean, yeah, this is an example. If somebody wants to generate a report which shows deaths per state, deaths will be your fact, state will be your dimension. Okay. If somebody wants to show deaths per state per month, okay, so deaths will be facts, state. So you're measuring states per month. So I want to find out the total number of deaths in New York in the month of March. So you're measuring against 2. This is a measure. Okay, state and quantity, state and month. You need to measure the deaths against state and month. Okay, over here I'm going to generate a report which will find out total sales per employee per store. I can also find out total sales per employee. I can find out total sales once I finish explaining this one. Yeah, once I finish explaining this one, you can find out total sales per. You can find out total. You can generate a report which will find out total sales per employee, or you can find out total sales per state, per store. We can also find out total sales per employee per store. You can generate 3 different kinds of reports once you load data into the fact table. Okay. So let's go back to here. Okay. So interview question was, which one do you load first? You load dimensions and then you load fact. Why? Because in the fact you need dimension keys. So you need to load this one first, these 2 dimensions first, and then this one. Okay. This one, where will sales F key come from? Where will this data come from?
Sequence.
Always sequence generator. Okay.
Sequence generator.
This come from sequence generator. This surrogate key will always come from sequence generator. Okay. So this will be 1, Where will sales ID, total sales, and quantity come from? These are going to be direct, fact columns are going to be direct load. Okay. Where will MD key come from? Where will MD key come from? So in your source, you have employee ID. You can do a lookup on employee dimension on this column and return this column, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you will do lookup on emp dim and return MD key. Okay, where will store D key come from? In your source, you have store ID. You will join on this one and return this one. Clear? Okay, then insert date, end date, active flag. You will all have all of that. Okay, in this one, you're tracking changes on this one and this one. And this one, you're tracking changes on this one and this one. Over here, what will you track changes on? You will not track changes on this one and this one. You'll track changes on MD key and store D key. So how will your fact mapping look like? Okay, this is how your fact mapping will look like. You will have sales ID, and then you will have total sales. When you import your source definition, this is how your data will look like, right? This is how your source definition will look like. Okay, this will be your source definition. The source qualifier will look the same. Okay. Now, the first thing you will do is, what do you normally do? You do an MD5, right? And then you do a lookup on target, correct? You do MD5 and then you do a lookup on target. Okay. So over here, you cannot track changes on this one and this one. You have to track changes on MDK and store DK. So first, you will have lookup on employee dimension. Okay, you will do a lookup on employee dimension. And what does employee dimension have? It will have MD key, emp ID. So it will have MD key. It will have emp ID. Okay. So you'll do a lookup on employee dimension. You will join on this one. You'll join on this column and this column and return MD key. Okay. So you will have an expression here which will have these three columns. You will have an expression which will have these three columns. You will join on this one and this one. You will return this one here. Similarly, you will join on stored LKP stored in. You will join on LKP stored in, and LKP stored in has store D key and store ID. And you will join on this column and this column and return store D key here. Then you will create an MD5 here. Then you will create an MD5 and you will track a change on, you will track changes on store D key, pipe, MD key, pipe, quantity, pipe, and then total sales. You'll do MD5 on these four columns. Is this clear to everyone? You will do MD5 on these four columns. From here, it's going to be the same. You will do a lookup on the target. Target is your sales fact. You will do a lookup on your target, and you will join on the natural key, sale ID and sale ID. Okay, you will join on sale ID and return sales F key. Okay, and then you will have insert an update flag. If is null sales F key, comma y, comma n. Update flag will be if null sales F key and MD5 not equals to MD5. Okay, this MD5 is not equals to the target, then update. Then you will have insert and update in the fact table. Is this clear to everyone? So this is mapping 1, 2, 3, mapping 4, 5, 6. Now you will have one workflow. You will have one workflow, which is called as sales fact. This one will have session 1, session 2, session 3. This is for mapping 1. This is for mapping 2. This is for mapping 3. These are all doing, what are they all doing? Loading data from flat file to, these are all loading data from flat file to table, staging table. These 3 mappings, you should do it. You should not take more than 60 seconds for each mapping. If you're taking more than 60 seconds for each mapping, you're not doing it correct. Okay, so you will have start here. You will have start here. And then these 3 will run in parallel. Okay, you will connect. Okay, once this session is loaded to staging table, so this one is loading data from flat file to emp staging. This one is loading data from flat file to store stage. This one is loading data from flat file, so sales flat file to sales stage. Okay, this workflow, you will have this. Once this is completed successfully, so you will have a link here, double click on it and say previous task status equals to succeeded. Only when the staging table is completed, then you will have session 4. Session 4 is for mapping 4. This is loading data from employee dim to, sorry, employee stage to employee dim. Okay, session, so only when this session 2 completes, then you will load data from, this one will be session 5 for mapping 5. This one will load data from employee, sorry, store stage to store dim. These 5 sessions you should do on your own. I will not help you. Okay, so once these 3 once this completes, so these 3 should run in parallel. Okay, this is flat file to table, flat file to table. These 3 have no connection in between them. Once this employee staging, once this is loaded into the target, this target will become your source, and you load it data into employee dimension. You'll take data from store stage and load it to store dim. And once this one and this one completes, then you will have, once this one and this one completes, then you will have session 6 for mapping 6, which will load data from sales stage to sales F. So your workflow should have 6 sessions in it. First 3 will load data from flat file to table. Second 2 sessions will do SCD type 2, which we did in detail. The last one is what I just showed here. And why should this one run after these 2? Because these 2 have dimension keys which will be used in the fact, right? See, sales fact has dim keys which will come only after these 2 get loaded. So dimension should always be loaded before facts. Interview question. Okay. Okay, so somebody please share screen. And so I'll give you the
Abdul, basically we are loading first primary keys, then the foreign key.
yes. Okay, who can share screen and do this? Guys, if you do this, I can start your marketing from Monday. Okay, this would be the final difficult assignment. There's nothing after this. And it's not difficult. 5 out of 6 means 80% is easy. So this will be your employee flat file, and this will be your store flat file. And this will be your Tanya, do you want to share
Abdul,
screen and do this?
I'm sorry. Abdul, how
Yes.
many fact tables usually we have?
In my
Like,
company, we have 37 fact tables and 80 dimensions.
7 fact tables, 80
Seven,
dimensions.
37 fact.
Oh, 37 fact. Okay.
37 facts and 75 dimensions.
Okay.
Okay, so create a folder called fact. Create a folder called fact dimension, and create a flat file called what should I give here? Give me one example. Let's call this a Samsung employee. This will be a flat file. This will be Samsung store, and then you will be this one will get the fact. No, not fact. Samsung sales. Okay, so employee is a dimension, store is a dimension, sales is a fact. So you will join on sale ID. Sorry, you'll join on employee ID. You will join on employee ID and employee ID and return this. You will join on store ID and store ID and return this. You will perform MD5 on this one, and these two columns. Everything is here in the Excel. Okay, so tell me what happens on day one. So on day one, this one will get loaded. Sale ID 1, total sales will be 100, quantity will be 100, MD key will be, because you're joining on this one and returning this one. Store D key, you're joining on store ID and store ID. You're doing a lookup on store ID, and returning this. Insert date will be 7/25, end date will be null. MD5 will be something like, because your MD5 is these 4 columns: total sales, quantity, and store D key. These will be your columns for MD5. Okay, so you will have X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3. An active flag will be Y. Then you will have sales FT2 coming from sequence generator. These columns, the rest of the fact columns will go directly. You will join on employee ID 2 and employee ID 2 and return MD key, which is 2. You will join on store ID 2 on store ID 2 and return this. Insert date will be 7/25, end date will be null, and this one will be XYZ 1. Active flag will be Y. On day one, this is what will happen. On day 2, Abdul changes his department ID from 10 to 20. So what's the first thing will happen? So on day 2, Abdul changes his department ID from 10 to 20. So staging tables are truncate and load, right? whatever you have here, you will have your same number of columns, nothing. So on day 2, this will happen. Okay, the same, this is truncate and load. So whatever you have in the flat file this will truncate and load here. Okay, now what will happen here? Can someone tell me what will happen here in the dimension when Abdul changes from department ID from 10 to 20?
End date and active flag.
Very good. First thing that will happen is this will get end dated, and this one will become N. And then new MD key will be inserted, 3 for 1 Abdul, and you will have 20 here. And then you will have salary will be the same. Start date will be this one. This one will become null, and this one will become A, B, C, 333, something like that, and this one will become Y. Is that clear to everyone? So one record will be inserted, one record will be updated, one record will be upserted, and no insert. Now, this one will run. So day 2, you have the same data. You will truncate and load same thing here. Since no changes here, no inserts, no updates, no upserts. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Now, what will happen here? What will happen here? So same data. So staging table will have no changes, but one of the lookup
changed. That's why.
Yes, correct. So now, even though the source data has not changed, the lookup data has changed. This one for employee ID. So previously for employee ID 1, I was loading MD key as 1. MD key as 1. Now for employee ID 1, I have MD key 3 now. So what will happen? This will get end dated. Okay, this one will get end dated. New record will be inserted, sales F key 3. And you will have same sale ID. This one will all be same. This one will become 3 because Abdul has a new MD key now. Okay, same store D key. Insert date will be this. End date will be null. This one will be in DEF 1, 2, 3 something. And this one will be Y. So when will the fact data change? When department or salary changes, or state and zip code changes, or total sales and quantity changes. Any of these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 values change, then this one will change.
Main logically, I think we can say that any of the dimensions MD5 change, then
Correct.
yes,
Any of the MD5 for the dimension and the fact columns changes.
Plus fact columns change, then it's gonna change.
Yep. That is it. This is it. Okay. So currently, this is called as star schema. So in data modeling, in dimension modeling, in dimension or data modeling, we have somebody who did data modeling here, right? We have something called a star and snowflake schema. Star schema means you have a fact table surrounded by dimensions. This looks like a star, right?
Yes, and joined by a simple foreign key primary key relationship.
Right. Simple foreign key primary key. So you have sales fact. You have sales fact. And what are the dimensions? So currently we only have 2 dimensions. So let's keep it simple. So what are the dimensions we have? Store dim. And what is the other dim we have? Store dim and employee dim. And how are these two joining? These two are joining on which column? Can someone tell me? here. It's here. You're joining on sales fact and employee dimension on employee employee ID. Okay, this is the foreign key primary key relationship between these two. Sales fact and store dim. You're joining on which column? Store ID. Right? You have store ID in your sales. You're joining on store dim on store ID and store ID, and returning store DB. But this one, this is your parent. This is your child. If only if the records are present here, then you should. So this is your employee dimension is your parent. Store dim is your parent. This is child. So we have a foreign key primary key relationship between them. Is that clear to everyone? So this is star schema. You have a fact table surrounded by dimensions with simple foreign key primary key relationship. Is that clear to everyone? Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
What is snowflake schema? Okay, so whatever we did is star schema. We have sales fact surrounded by store dim and ample dim, simple one. What is snowflake schema? So suppose you have sales fact. Again, you will have, okay, so you will have, okay, I'll just say, you have a fact table surrounded by dimensions. And these dimensions, okay, dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 3, dimension 4. Okay, this is your star schema. What is snowflake schema? It will be the fact table surrounded by dimensions, and these dimensions are further broken down into smaller dimensions. For example, you have sales fact here. You have sales fact here.
Snowflake is basically the extension of star schema.
It's an extension. You're further breaking down the. So what is the kind of reporting you're doing here? You're doing sales per employee, sales per employee per store, right? This is a reporting you're doing here, right? Sales per employee per store. Let me actually take a better example here. Let me also put
The date,
state.
like date.
Yeah, date or state. Okay, let's take another dimension here. So suppose you're doing, so remember I said the type of reporting you can do here is, where did that thing go? So you can do sales per employee, sales per store, or sales per employee per store. Okay, let's assume that over here I'm doing sales per, okay, let's take the example which Yasser was giving. So what did you say? Year, right?
Yes, Abdul, year. So we can.
Okay. So we can do sales per year, sales every year. Snowflake schema is an extension of this. You will still have employee. You will still have store. You will still have year. Okay. You can do sales per employee per store per year, sales per employee per year, sales per employee, sales per store, sales per year. But in Snowflake, you can further break down year into months.
Quarters, months, weeks.
You can further break down months into quarters.
Weeks. No,
quarters.
year into quarters.
Sorry, you're right. Yeah, this is higher. Quarters. This is months. Then you can do weeks, and then you can do daily. Then you can do hourly. Right? You can do hourly. Like for example, Walmart, they have to do hourly sales. They have to report hourly sales. But for a company like Boeing, they sell planes. They're not going to sell planes hourly, right? Probably they'll do per week, right? Probably they'll do per week, not even daily. Like how many they might do daily. Give me an example for sales per year. Like if a company is making very less sale, for them star schema is enough. For Walmart, they have to do snowflake schema. So this year is broken down into quarters, quarters is broken down into months, months, and so your dimension is broken. So over here, reporting is more granular. Reporting is more granular. Okay, the grain is very high here. The grain is bigger. The rice grain is bigger. The rice grain is smaller. Okay, so like that, the reporting is more granular here. So you can do very detailed reporting. Over here, you're only doing like high level reporting. So this is easy to build. This is difficult to build, but this will give you only high level. This will give you more detailed. So if you want something better, you have to put in more effort. Everything in life, right? So if you want more detailed report, you have to create dimensions. Like your year dimension will be broken down into quarters dimension, quarters, months will be broken down into weeks, weeks will be broken down into daily will be broken down into hourly. Okay, I have never done reporting at that level. I have only done reporting just one dimension into one down. That's it. I've done mostly that one. Okay, but I'm giving you an example. This is more snowflake is more. This is an interview question. What is the difference between star and snowflake schema?
Also, in the snowflake, the data is more denormalized. Sorry,
Yeah.
normalized, not denormalized, normalized.
Explain the flow SCD type 2. Okay, I'm not going to cover SCD type 3. SCD type 3 is a combination of 1 and 2. Some columns you will maintain history, some columns you will not maintain history. Okay. If you want, you guys can look up videos on that. Okay. Difference between snowflake and star schema. That's an important interview question. Yeah, this is your star schema. This is your snowflake schema. It's further broken down into more. Okay. Okay, this is a good example of snowflake schema. See, your location is broken down into city. City can be broken down into county. County can be broken down into zip code, right? Something like that. Location, city, item, supplier, time. Time can be broken down into much more. These are all in the fact table. These are all the measures you can measure against the units sold, dollars sold, average sales. Okay, and these are the item key. These are the fact columns. Here's my this thing. So is this clear to everyone? Yeah, sir. We can add data modeling on your resume. Okay, it would look very good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so once you load data into dimensions and fact, a report developer will come into picture and will build reports on top of this. Okay, so what will happen after you load data into dimensions and facts? Your job is done. That's it. Your job is done after you load data into dimensions and fact. A report developer will come into picture and will build reports on top of your dimensions and fact. Okay, he will take all of these dimensions and facts. He will build a report and present to the CEO of the company. The CEO of the company will say, oh, what a beautiful report. I just go to my reports, I click on daily sales, I immediately get graphs. And the report developer will get all the praise. People will say, oh, such a beautiful report. Internally, the report developer will be smiling, saying that I did not do anything. I'm just presenting it in a nice way. Internally, database developer will be getting mad, saying that I did all the hard work and this guy is getting all the praise. In every data warehouse project, this is the ugly truth. You extract data from flat file, you do the MD5, you do a lookups on targets, you create insert update flag, you will load into dimensions and facts. You will do the error handling. People will not look at that. People will look at the outer beauty. So the person will take these dimensions and facts, and he or she will use a reporting tool like Cognos or Tableau. Tableau is very hot in the market right now. Tableau, Cognos, OBIEE, there is ClickView, there is Crystal
Power
Report,
Power BI.
Power BI. So report developer will take all your hard work. He or she will make it a beautiful report. Okay. So if a person knows SQL, you don't need a report. You don't need to buy that reports, expensive reports. He or she can just query, he or she can query the tables directly and find out what is the total sales done by this employee. Okay, so you can join the sales and fact on this employee ID. You can join the sales and fact on MD key and MD key and say, Abdul made this sale of 100. Okay. Okay, and this was the total sales. Right now, I made it simple here. So this could have like hundreds of like 20, 30 columns here. Okay, if a person knows SQL, you don't need a report. But most of like the company CEO, he or she will not know how to write SQL, right? So the report developer will build a report saying that just log into your reports and click on daily sales. In the backend, it will join all these tables. In the backend, this is what's going to happen. In the backend, this is what's going to happen, and it will return data. Okay, it will return data saying that Abdul made 100 sales in this month for this store. Okay, so the company CEO will in front of everybody in the meeting, he will say, oh, report developer built a beautiful report, I'm very happy. Okay, happens every project, in every company, every project. Database developer does the hard work, report developer takes all the credit. Is that clear? We don't have to worry about that right now.
So, Abdul, you mean we should work in the report developer?
So every ETL developer should know very good ETL and should know basic report development. Every report developer should be very good in report development and should know basic ETL. Okay, if a person knows ETL and report development very good, you will get a job on Monday. Okay, you will have a job on Monday before the day closes. Before 5 p.m. you will have a job. If a person knows very good report development and very good, you will not find a person like that in the market. A person who knows ETL and reporting very good. See, just for us to learn ETL, it took us 2 months. To learn reporting, it will take another 2 months, right? And then these concepts keep changing. Nobody can be perfect in ETL and reporting. So whenever you look at ETL job descriptions, it will say good to have reporting experience. Good to have, prefer reporting, someone with reporting experience. Okay, but it's not difficult. See, I've been working for 12 years. I've worked on like 6 or 7 reporting tools. I've worked on ClickView, Crystal Reports, OBIEE, Cognos. In my current company, I use Cognos. It's an IBM reporting tool. Microsoft has SSRS. Oracle has OBIEE. There is SAP has Crystal Reports and Business Objects, SAP Business Objects. So I worked on all of these, but so why does an ETL developer need to know? Why does an ETL developer need to know little bit of reporting? Because so this is what's going to happen at work.
He can check his own report and see what's going on.
Very good, excellent. That's what I was going to say. So the business user will say, hey Abdul, I'm running this report, I'm seeing wrong data. I'm seeing sales for Abdul as 200, whereas I checked the invoices. Abdul made only $100 sales. Okay, can you please check this report? Why is this report loading the wrong data? So you will log into the reporting tool. You will run the same report which the business user is running. Okay, this is important actually. So user complains about bad report. The user will say this report is showing bad data. Okay, this user will say this this report is showing bad data, and will submit a ticket. Ticket will be assigned to you. Okay, user complains about bad data, submits ticket, and gets assigned to you. Now, the report developer who has been taking all the good feedback and all the praises from the last so many years immediately will assign the ticket to you, because he or she has no idea how this table got loaded, right? All they did was took whatever data you provided and presented to the CEO. Whenever a ticket is submitted, report developer will quickly assign ticket to you and say, okay, that's it, I'm out, please look into this. So there is always a problem, okay, when you work in. So initially I used to feel bad, like we do all the hard work, they take all the praise, and something goes bad, they'll immediately assign ticket to us, and they'll get exit out of the picture. And report developers get paid more than ETL developers. That's the fact again, because they are working directly with the end users, CEO, CFOs, and the territory sales manager. Okay, territory sales manager doesn't even know that an ETL tool exists, a database developer. He or she, the CEO, CFO, thinks report developer only took the raw data and there is nothing called ETL. So they think there is raw data and there is reporting. Between the raw data and reporting, there is so much, right? You have to extract data. You have to write scripts to extract data and move it to archive, and then you have to create list file, and then you will have to load staging tables, dimensions, and facts, right? And then the error handling. All of these things you need to do. All of these things you need to do, right? So anyway, sorry, that's a bad topic for me every time. So user complains about bad reports, submits tickets, gets assigned to you. So what's the first thing you'll do? You'll run the report. Okay, you'll run the report, and at this point of time, you still don't know. At this point of time, you still don't know if it's a bad data or no. So ETL developer runs. This is important actually. Runs report. I actually cannot share my work screen and show you this because it's not a good thing to do. So ETL developer will run the report. Okay. So he or she sees 200 here. So we don't know if the data is bad or good so far. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the report. Okay. I run the report. In every reporting tool. Okay. Guys, you have to listen to this. I cannot show this, unfortunately. Every reporting tool, there is a place where you can check the backend queries. Backend queries. So if I'm running sales, so if I'm running a report which is total sales per employee, in the backend it's going to join these tables like this. It will run a query, it will write a query and join these tables. Select star from table A, join table B, where employee ID equals. Okay. So in the backend, you will run a report. You will run a report, and from the backend, you will copy the query. You will take the query as is. You will take the query as is and paste it here. Okay, you will take the query as is, paste it here, and execute it. Okay, it will say, it will show that this person, the user is complaining about this person, right? Abdul has total sales as 200. Okay, the user is complaining that Abdul has total sales 200, whereas Abdul has total sales how much? Abdul has total sales of 100 only. See, employee ID 1, employee ID 1. and the total sales is 100 only. Employee ID 1 has total sales 100 only. Employee ID 1 is Abdul, right? But in my fact table, it's showing 200. So he or she does not know facts or dimension. They'll just say my report is not showing bad data. So you'll run the report, go to the backend query, and go to the backend and copy the query and execute it in database. Okay, it will show 200 because in the fact it's showing 200. Now you will open your ETL and see how that column is getting loaded from the fact. Okay, for example, this is salary. So you will backtrack this, and this will be your fact. You will have dimensions, and then you will have the source. Okay, so you will see that. So if you backtrack from the source, from the fact file all the way to this is your fact mapping. Okay, so if you so guys, you have to write down notes on this. So if you where is my mapping which I created here? Yeah, so if I backtrack and total sales, if I see that fact table is getting loaded by this file. So I will check this file. If this file shows 100, there is a problem. In my source, I have 100. In my target, I'm showing 200. So there is a problem with the ETL. If the fact table is showing 200 and the flat file is also showing 200, then that's not your problem. You have to go back to the source team and say, user is complaining about bad data for this employee. Please check why you're sending 200 for Abdul. Why you're sending 200 for employee ID. But if in the source it's 100, in the target it's 200, somewhere in your mapping it got converted. Is that clear? So there are two scenarios here. If you backtrack that column all the way till source and check in the source if it's same, you just exit out and say, just tell it, send an email to the source team, copy the report developer, and say there is a user is complaining about bad data. Please, could you please check why employee ID 1 has total sales of 200? But if they are sending 100 and you are loading 200, you have to figure out where you have to run debugger and see which transformation is converting it from 100 to 200. And then you have to fix that part of the code. For example, if the source team sent 100 and you're loading 10, maybe the length has to be increased in somewhere in between, right? Right?
Yes. Abdul, this kind of issues happen like many times, or it's
A lot.
so rare?
Oh,
A lot?
It happens a lot. Users will complain about bad data a lot. Okay. One more thing, we'll take a break. We'll come back and do this mapping. I'm not going to do, you guys will do. So the other thing is, while you're doing a lookup on employee dimension, for employee ID 1, you will have multiple rows, right? You will always pick up the one which is active. If you have multiple rows in employee table, so whenever you're doing a lookup here, you will always say pick up last value, pick up last value. Clear? Guys, if you do this good today, I can start your marketing from Monday. You can do this today, this assignment, but it's very simple. Which is very simple. Why? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 mappings, you can do it without any questions. Even this one, 90% of it you can do, except you have to do some additional lookups before you go to MD5. You have to do some additional lookups before you go to MD5. Previously, we just take MD5 as is. You have to do some additional lookups because
Abdul, basically, like one step is more than SCD2 here. Like this is the only one extra step is that
exactly.
we have to.
That's why I said
Yeah.
90%. Only this step is extra.
Yeah.
Only this step is extra. And from here, it will again be MD5, look up on the target if the record exists, flags, router, insert and update and upsert. Okay, let's take a 10 minutes break and then we'll be back. I'm not going to share screen. You guys will, one person will share screen and do this end to end. Okay, and everybody will.
Yes, Abdul, can you copy paste that to chat?
Okay, what was that?
Can you copy paste to the chat, please?
This thing?
Assignment, yes.
Yeah, okay. Create a folder. Yeah, this is, they will drop the flat files in your folder and they'll say just do dimension loading on this one. They'll say load the do dimension modeling on this one. Okay. If you have any questions, Yasser will help you. He's a data model expert.
Abdul,
Yeah.
so I'm sorry, before the break, I'll ask you the staging you said, right? So it's gonna be the exactly same structure
Same.
of the flat file, and it's just we're gonna do that on the SQL table as a source. Later, then we're gonna continue. So we're gonna, before we were working on the flat file, now we're gonna work on the stage, right?
So previously you were taking flat file. And
Now we're gonna take the table.
So this one will be very simple. Source definition, source qualifier, target.
Okay.
Source definition, source qualifier, target. Source definition, source qualifier, target, and this will be truncate and load.
As I understand that this is probably the reason is that not to touch the flat file all the time.
Right.
If there is something, we have to work on the table, right?
Exactly. If somebody says, can you check what was the data we received today? You're not going to go to ETL server C, Informatica 9.6. Oh, where's a flat file? Oh, no, you can simply query this will make your job easier instead of opening the flat file. Because this is truncate and load. It will only load what's there here. If it has 10 records, it will load 10 records. If it has 5 records, it will load 5 records here.
I see. Okay.
Okay. You don't need to have this. All these assignments, what we did directly from here to here. I'm introducing this new concept of staging, so it makes your life a bit easier. You don't have to go to the file system every time and check for the files. Let's come back and finish this assignment, okay? Okay, is everyone back? Hello? Okay, can somebody share screen? Can you guys hear me? Ramil, are you there? Oh, Ramil, you cannot share screen, right?
Abdul, I'm not. I would like to do that, but I'm
Yeah,
not.
yeah, that's okay. I forgot. Tonya, can you share screen? Is Tonya there? Yeah, she's there. Or anybody who wants to share screen and do this. We have only 50 minutes. Okay, so I want to complete this. Guys, please, someone share screen. Guys, is anybody sharing screen?
Although I can share, but I keep getting phone calls. I don't know if it's gonna work.
You keep getting what?
Phone calls.
Yeah, it's okay.
So you want me to share or what?
No, I'm not going to share. If you guys are sharing, we'll do this. Otherwise, we can end the class. You can do this as assignment.
No, I'll share. Okay, if I get phone calls, I'll just let you know.
Okay. I don't know why others don't want to share. Okay.
What about Turab?
No, I don't want Turab to share. He can do it easily. Okay. Proceed, okay? I'm going to go on mute so you can proceed. I pasted the question. You have to create the target tables and proceed. Okay.
You guys see my screen, right? Hello?
Ali, we don't see your shared screen. Yes, now we see, but not the SQL or not the designer.
Yeah, I'm not a designer yet. So
Okay.
I'm trying to read the question. Okay, where is the?
Okay, let me also save the flat file and close it. Oh, sorry, the Excel. So you can, if you want to open it, open and check. But for now, you're extracting data from flat file and loading to table.
Abdul, this is, I think it's gonna take like few
The
minutes.
services are not running.
Yeah, my services are not running. I just started the services from the.
Okay. Can somebody else share screen? I don't know why I have to keep asking. What is the problem? Yasser, can you share screen? Zuhaib, can you share screen? Irfan, can you share screen? Tony, are you there? Okay, in the meantime, create the structure of the target tables.
So, what are the target table names?
Open the Excel and then do it. I explained everything for 1.5 hours. So first, where will you load the data first?
The
Open the Excel.
hold on. Oh, why am I opening calendar? Okay. So first we gotta do the dimension tables.
No.
So Is this gonna be number or worker?
Which one?
Sales ID for the store.
ID is always number, right? Store ID, employee ID, sales ID, always number.
Maybe it's gonna be something like raw ID or something with the letters in between. That's why.
No, in this case it's number. Yeah, you're right. It could be worker also, but in this case it's some. Those requirements will be given to you. The target table name, the column name, the data types, the length, everything will be given to you. See, the fact has all numbers in it because you have to measure that against something. Whereas dimensions will have employee details, store details. Fact will only have numbers in them. That's another way you can find out.
So is this it for now?
Go back. You have to put staging at the end, right? For Samsung CO stage.
Right.
Can you go back?
Ali,
Show me the
Ali,
date.
put the brackets, Ali. Put the brackets. Before sales ID and after the... yes, put the brackets over there.
Oh, I forgot.
No, not this one.
Oh, yeah,
before
there's
sales
a whole
ID.
thing in brackets. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this looks good, but I want to see the question again. Just put the question right below these queries.
I mean,
Emp ID name. Yeah, it should be the same columns. Move it down a little bit. Emp ID name, debt ID, salary, store ID, state, and zip code. Move it up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no, this is good. This is good. Okay, create those tables now. And save all these create statements.
What?
Click OK.
Let me just copy this.
No, execute it. Yeah, it's just saying that your connection was open for too long. It was closed.
Oh, okay.
Check if the tables got created.
Missing the left parenthesis.
There is a
Execute one at a time.
wildcard 2, and then in the state,
Okay, this is
there's
done.
wildcard 2.
In this, no, below
So it's good.
the second table.
No, I'm just trying to execute
Second
one.
table. There is a problem in your second table.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, but why it doesn't execute the up?
Why are you having problems writing create statements? You're forgetting brackets. You're forgetting the lengths. Okay.
Just two. What about this now?
That's already created. It says it's already created. It says you cannot create this table again. Okay, that one is created. Okay, that's already created. Okay, now import the structure of source, import the structure of target in shortcut folder. Drag and drop to regular folder. You're not connected to shortcut folder. Now you're connected.
Which folder was that? Actually, let me just do it also.
Okay, I'll be back one second. I just got my oximeter. Did you guys order that oximeter to check your oxygen levels?
I think I don't even know what that is.
Okay. You don't need it.
Ali, can you click on hide to get rid of the?
This? Hide what? This?
That, yeah.
Okay.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to do the shortcut.
Okay. Did you drag and drop into regular folder?
This is the shortcut folder, and
Okay.
yes.
So why are you dragging and dropping there? Which folder are you connected to? You're connected to training. So why are you dragging?
What am I doing wrong?
Exit out of shortcut folder. I don't know why you're still in shortcut folder. Minimize it. Disconnect and double click on info training. You're not confident with the things you're doing. Say yes. Say yes. Your create table is incorrect. Your brackets are missing. You're dragging and drop. So that's the reason I tell you share screen. I know what you're doing wrong. Okay, get out of shortcut folder. You shouldn't be. Did you drag and drop your source and target?
Yes.
Okay, then why are you going to shortcut folder again?
I'm trying to create. Okay.
Yeah. Tell me, you're trying to do what?
To drag and drop the source and targets here so that the shortcuts create.
Yeah. So why are you doing in shortcut folder? That has to be done in regular folder.
Okay, so I'm in the regular folder.
Minimize targets. You're like all over the place. Okay. Open flat file. Drag and drop the shortcuts and rename them.
Okay, but I have to drag them here so that the shortcuts are created.
Ali, stop clicking on your screen. Stop clicking on your screen. Minimize everything. Talk to me, okay? Did you import the structure of source and target in your regular folder?
Yes.
In your shortcut folder.
Yes.
Open your shortcut folder. Open your source. Okay. Did you drag and drop into regular folder?
Oh.
Why are you again doing that? Ali, do you see Samsung employee? Yeah, drag and drop.
Oh,
Say yes.
now it's creating. It was not creating before that.
Guys, this is like the final classes. You're having problems dragging and dropping things. Okay, now you dragged and dropped. I asked you like so many times. You kept saying yes.
I was doing the same thing and it was not doing before.
Maybe you didn't do Control S.
Yes, that.
Minimize sources. Minimize sources. Why do you have sources open? Yeah, now drag and drop. Why are you doing one at a time? Copy Samsung sales stage and store stage at the same time. Yeah, now drag and drop both. Say yes to all. Minimize shortcut folder. Exit out of shortcut folder. Don't need to be. Okay. Now go to regular folder. Now drag and drop and rename those. I would rather have you mistakes right now. Make mistakes right now. Then go to work and make mistakes and call me. Oh, I'm stuck here. There is somebody standing at my desk. Can you please help me? Just call this as M underscore EMP underscore. Sorry, M underscore Samsung underscore. Just call this as M underscore Samsung underscore. Ali, delete everything on your screen and start from scratch. Call this as M underscore Samsung underscore. Samsung should be uppercase. Underscore ample underscore stage. Drag and drop source, drag and drop target.
Okay. So just join and.
Yeah, that's it. Staging table, anybody can do it. Control S. Create ample staging, store staging, and sales staging. Create the other two staging mappings.
Okay.
So you have the 3 stagings, right?
Right.
Okay. Create a workflow. No. Cancel this. You will not create it like this. I'll tell you why. Go to workflow manager. In one workflow, you will have three sessions. All the staging sessions will be in 3 sessions. So create a brand new workflow. Call this WF_Samsung_sales_fact. Click fact just one. Okay, click OK. Create 3 sessions in this.
Okay. To be honest,
Can someone tell him how to create sessions in a workflow?
Yeah, click on that wheel on the top and then back in the.
That's correct.
Click
That's correct.
Okay.
Select the sessions.
Yeah.
Select the mappings. You can only do one at a time. Okay, get the other 2. Okay, these 3 should run in parallel at the same time. Okay, make sure that everything is good in that. Make sure stop on error is on. Make sure all the properties are selected. Go to properties. It will be insert. Data driven will be insert because you're not using update strategy. If you're using update strategy, it will become data driven. Okay, make stop on error as 1. Make sure the right folder truncate table option is selected.
So I just put the direct. So this one is. So truncate option you said selected. I need to select.
So for staging table, truncate table option will be selected. Every day the data will be refreshed. Control S. Whenever you're using update strategy, you will not select truncate table option. Incremental load and update strategy, you will not use truncate table option.
Yeah. For the top session, you skip to the directory name.
I think I put it. I'll double check. This one?
Yeah, take a look. See if it's. I could be wrong.
Oh, yeah.
No. What are you doing?
Oh, the. Yeah, I put it.
Double click on the second session. Go to mappings. Go to source. Scroll down. Look at the flat file name.
Oh,
You're supposed to check all these things. I'm asking you to load simple flat file into table. Control S. Double click on the last session. So it took you just like 15 minutes to create half of the. See over here also you're missing.
why is
So
it happening like that?
Control S. Okay, so half of the workflow is already done in like 15 minutes. So run the workflow. Make sure that this is, don't create entire workflow and that is running. No, bits and pieces you should run. Okay, go back to your workflow monitor. Okay, double click on the first session. Okay, 2 employees, two loaded. Double click on sales stage. 2 sales and 2 loaded. Store, 2 stores and 2 loaded. Perfect. Okay, now do the other part.
Oh. Now I'll need the real help. So create this and this dimension table and store
So
dimension.
now you will take your staging tables as source. So go to Powercenter. Yeah, create the target tables now. Ali, what are you doing? Which table do you have to create? Staging table is already here.
Dimension, sorry.
Put Samsung in the front. Okay, create the structure now.
So for SCD2, we need to add the columns, no? Hello?
Yeah,
Yeah, for SCD2, we need to add the columns here.
yes, you need to add extra columns. We did so many examples. What's the first column you will add? Yeah, correct. MD key. Number, primary key. What are you doing? What are you doing? Will it
I'm
be
trying
store
to
D ID or store D key?
store. Okay.
First, do one table at a time. Okay, go back to Samsung employee dimension.
Okay.
Say you added MD key, right?
Yes.
Okay, proceed.
Uh,
Okay. So insert date. So you added MD key, all the columns from source, insert date, end date, active flag. You're still missing one more column. Can someone help him? Which column is he missing? Look at the Excel. Look at the Excel.
5.
MD5. You're missing MD5.
oh,
Nope. It's difficult to get a job like this. Very difficult. What will be the data type?
Barker.
I asked column is missing. You said MD5. Then I asked data type. You said varchar. Now I will ask length. You'll say length. It's not varchar. It's varchar 2 and then 32. Execute that employee dimension. Okay. Create the store dim. Yeah, just copy the maintenance columns and paste it there. Okay. Perfect. Now import, go back to Powercenter, import the staging table as sources and dimension table as target.
Shamram, why are you calling me from there? I'm sorry, what was that?
Import staging tables as source. Import dimension table as targets.
Okay.
Minimize everything on the left side. Okay, once again, you're not connected to shortcut folder. Now you're connected to shortcut folder.
Why am I?
Wait.
Oh,
Staging table will be imported as source now. Control S, you're again not doing Control S. Then you will say, I'm trying to drag and drop, it's not giving me. Okay, now import the Samsung dimensions here. Okay. Once again, you did not do Control S.
I did.
Okay, drag and drop source from shortcut to regular folder. Okay, good. Drag and drop your dimension tables. Okay. Perfect. Minimize the shortcut folder. Okay, now go into this. Rename those. You're doing good, but you need practice. Okay, rename these.
What do you want me to call these mappings?
M underscore Samsung underscore Ample underscore dim.
Sample underscore what?
Dim dimension.
Oh, okay.
So drag and drop your source, drag and drop your target. Good. Why are you dragging and dropping?
Just one.
This is employee dimension, right? What will you do with sales dimension? Drag and drop your target. Close everything on the left side. Okay. What's the first thing you'll do?
Okay, this is a bit complicated. Okay, expression
Not
MD5.
Yes. First thing you'll do. You know everything, but you're not confident. Okay. First thing you'll do.
I was practicing this yesterday with Ramil. He was helping me. So
First thing you'll create, like you said, you'll create MD5.
yeah.
Okay. Create MD5.
I'll just try to.
Yeah. Minimize source definition and source qualifier. Make some space there. Yep. Call this as exp underscore MD5. Slow. You're just going too fast. Okay. You're actually doing good so far, because in 20 minutes you already had 3 mappings created for staging, dimension, you created the table, you imported it. You're actually doing pretty good. Okay, so no, is it going to be strict 100?
Oh, sorry.
There are 11 people on the call. Everybody is watching a movie. It's going to be always string 32.
Yeah. You need to fix expression also, I guess.
Okay. Uh, yes. Okay.
Stop clicking,
So,
stop clicking, stop clicking. Click on ports and wait there. What will you do here? Can somebody help me out?
okay. MD5, and then which port we are tracking the changes.
Correct. On which port you're tracking changes. Very good.
Okay. So which ports are we tracking changes?
You tell me which ports will you track changes. No need to go anywhere. Stay here. Which columns are you going to track changes on?
Name, depth ID, and salary maybe.
That is wrong. A person's name will never change. A person's employee ID will never change. A person's department and salary will always change. So you will track changes on department ID and salary.
ID.
Very good. You need to put 2 here.
Yeah.
Because those are number fields, you have to convert to varchar. Absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Yeah. You forgot the pipe signs, yes. The concatenation.
Oh, yeah.
Put pipe. What is comma there? Put a bracket, click OK, proceed.
Okay.
Do Control S.
Okay, now we need to bring the lookup in the target.
Nope. Nope. What does he have to type there? Okay, watch the previous recording. Complete the. It's already time. So watch the previous recording. Okay, I'm not going to help with all these things. Watch the previous recordings and complete this facts. Okay, tomorrow we'll cover new topics. Okay. Anybody has any questions before I end the class? Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Please, everybody, end the class.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good one.